Hi parents, I just wanted to get on and do a little video for you as we're getting to the end of our geometry unit. I have to do all of your children's assessments basically one-on-one in the classroom, and they're not paper pencil. So I just wanted to go over some of the types of questions. I can't give you the exact ones because they're secure. So I just want to kind of go over some of the types of questions I would be asking your kids. We work with 2D shapes. So for instance, we work a lot with the magnetiles. They come and click back and forth. So I might have two different shapes on the table, and I might say put them together, and what type of shape can you make? If you put two squares together, you're now going to make a rectangle. So that's a type of question I could ask, not the exact one. We also look at 3D shapes, basic 3D shapes. There's pyramid, there's cube, there's rectangular prism. So all that kids really have to be able to do is name them, and then they have to be able to identify the faces of them. So for the pyramid, I have to say, you know, what's the shape of this face? Triangle. 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 What's the shape of this face? Square. So those types of questions get kids a little confused sometimes because they honestly think you're trying to trick them because you're asking them the same question over and over again. So we try to just kind of break that down for them and say, you know, I'm not trying to trick you. What's the shape of all of these faces? So they have to name the 2D face of the 3D shape. Another piece that we might do, I'm just going to show you on a whiteboard here. There might be a number of shapes that look similar, and pardon my drawing because it's not great. But we might say, you know, I might ask them what the shape is. They need to say circle. And then I have to ask them, well, what do you know about a circle? We talk a lot about the attributes of shapes. They have to be able to tell me that a circle doesn't have any straight sides is basically what they need to tell me, or they can say it's round. Then I have to say point to the other circle on the page. So they would point to something like this, even though I didn't draw it perfectly. But if they point to the oval or kind of the crescent, then that would not be correct. So we have to identify shapes in that manner as well. And I believe we do circles, triangles, and rectangles for that assessment. That looks like this. Students need to be able to identify those 2D shapes. They need to be able to name and describe 3D shapes and their faces. And they need to be able to create shapes out of other shapes, creating a rectangle out of two squares. At this point in the year, we also need to be able to skip count by tens to 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Just rote, just like that. And at this point in the year, students need to be able to count to 100 without having any mistakes. Just rote counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 100. So those are some pieces that we've been working on in math. Those are the pieces that I have to assess them on in math over the next couple of weeks. I won't have everything assessed by the time interims come out, but just so you know, if they have an I in counting and cardinality, it's because they might not be counting to 100 yet, or they might not be skip counting by tens to 100 yet. So I just want to go over those pieces with you. Thank you for these shape robots. They are going to turn out amazing on Friday. Only other thing is that I have to tell you as far as reading is that at this point in the year, I believe we need to be, it is March, we need to be on the level 4 or 5 at this point. So if your child is still on the reading level of 3, they would be below the benchmark at this point. So that might be something else that you see on the interim that comes home. If your child's on a 3, then I'll probably be contacting you just to have a conversation to see kind of what's going on in that respect. So if they're above the 4 or 5, then they are above the benchmark. If they are reading above a 6, which the majority of the class is at this point, then they are into the first grade reading levels. And so I'm going to be working more and more with them on written responses. And that takes a lot longer to process through the book when we've got to do those written responses. So you won't be seeing as many different books, or even maybe one book a week coming home. It might take us 2 weeks now to go through a book because we've got to go through the decoding portions, the word work portions, and now we're layering on the written response portions. because I don't like it when my students go to first grade and their reading levels stick in one spot because they're not writing as well as they can read. So I'm not necessarily holding them back in reading levels, but I am really going to focus on the written responses. So I'm going to just start moving a little bit more slowly through those levels. I hope everyone's having a great week. Please always let me know if you have questions or concerns. Just tried a little video today because I haven't got a lot of FaceTime with you guys. So you remember what my face looks like. And come in, volunteer anytime. We're happy to have you here. And it was great seeing a lot of people on STEAM night. Hope everyone has a great afternoon. Thank you.